Welcome to the Crystal Library, a pocket-sized portal into the magical, mysterious, and sometimes misunderstood world of crystals. I'm your host, Ashleigh, and each week I'll guide you as we explore one enchanting stone, its history, lore, healing properties, and one easy way to invite its magic into your everyday life. Whether you're crystal curious or deep in the woo, this is your space to learn, explore, and expand your connection to the mineral realm, one glittering gem at a time. So let's open the library and see which crystal wants to speak today. Hi, everyone. I'm back. Welcome to the Crystal Library. Welcome to Big Crystal Energy. I'm Ashleigh. I'm back from our huge family trip to the Philippines for 3 weeks and Japan for a week. We just got home on Friday. I am now we got home Thursday night. I'm sorry. I'm so discombobulated from the travel, from the time change, from everything that we experienced over the past month. It is now Saturday, and I will be doing a whole deep dive on my travel experience, everything in an upcoming episode. But today on the Crystal Library, I am crossing into a whole month of the fairy realm. And I'm going to be starting with a stone that is, I don't know how else to say it. It feels very fairy-esque, okay? And it's the stone called Prehnite. It is very light. It has a very light green color. It feels mossy. It feels magical. It feels like it should be in a enchanted garden. It feels like you should have it next to your dream journal, something like that. And it is a stone that's really helping me cross that threshold of travel and now into the fairy realm. Now, one thing that I want to mention before I really get into the whole episode is this is not a stone that has like this like famous fairy lore connected to it, but it does have that energy of the Faery Threshold. And that's why I chose the stone to transition into April and our whole month on fairies. Now, this episode is going to be coming out on Tuesday, March 31st. So technically we're not in April yet, but by tomorrow we will be. So it has this pale green. I'm just holding up my one little piece that I have. It has this pale green, soft, kind of otherworldly color to it. It's more connected to crystal practices with dreams, intuition, prophecy, protection, and the unseen in a more modern way. It does not have this ancient lore of these things. It's a stone that you would probably have by your dream journal if you have one. Maybe you would have some in your garden, maybe near a tarot deck, or in your pocket while you are trying to listen a little bit more closely to your inner knowing. And so today we're talking about Prehnite and where it comes from, its mineralogical makeup, and how it came to carry the meanings it has today, and why I think it's the dream stone for stepping into our fairy month. As I was preparing all my Crystal Library episodes for April, some of the crystals that I'm going to be talking about are more obvious than others. There's a stone called fairy quartz or spirit quartz. I mean, that one seems very obvious. Whereas Prehnite, as I explain it to you, it will seem more obvious, but upon first observation, it may not seem as obvious. I don't know. Is that how I want to say it? I'm not really. You guys, the struggle is real. The struggle is real right now. I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. So if this episode just feels kind of wild and discombobulated and like my brain is not really there, bear with me because it's really not. I'm also drinking some of my mushroom coffee. We have no groceries in our house. I haven't eaten in like 24 hours. Yeah, things are wild. So let me have a drink of my coffee and then we will get started. Okay, so definitely in an integration period right now. All these experiences from my trip are really just still settling with me. And the trip really taught me a lot about this idea of thresholds, especially considering that we traveled between so many places. I feel like we were on the threshold of so many things throughout the entire month. The experiences were unlike anything I've ever really experienced in my life before. It truly makes me emotional thinking about it because I feel like I've come back a changed person. I really do. I think travel does that to us. It changes us. And I definitely feel like this particular trip was very life-changing in so many ways. And when you return from a trip, especially an international trip or a trip where there's a huge time difference, even if it's from one coast to the other, I think 3 hours from the West Coast to the East Coast, I think that's a pretty significant amount of time. It feels kind of like you're traveling through a portal. I mean, we left Japan at 9:30 p.m. on Thursday evening, and we got to San Francisco at 3 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. So we kind of like reverse time traveled, and it really felt like going through this really strange portal because we come out on the other side and you're like, wait, it's earlier now than when we departed, but it's the same day. But normally it would be the next day. Very trippy. Very trippy. And I think that recognizing these thresholds and these liminal spaces is something that really puts me in this mindset of talking about um, the fairy realm and going into this whole series about fairies. And so right now, I personally feel like I'm standing with one foot in ordinary life and one foot still in that dream space that travel opens up, right? And honestly, that's exactly the kind of energy I wanted to begin this fairy series with. So, Prehnite, we'll just get into the mineral side of the stone first, the science. Okay. Prehnite is a calcium aluminum silicate hydroxide. Yeah, that's a mouthful. On the Mohs hardness scale, it's between a 6 and a 6.5. It's usually pale green to gray, but also appears yellow green, whitish, or it can be kind of colorless. It often forms in rounded botryoidal, reniform, globular, or stalactitic shapes, which is part of why it has such an organic, enchanted look. So I'll post some photos on my social media of what it naturally looks like, because this piece that I have here is just a tumbled stone. So it's just smooth and shiny. It commonly lines cavities in igneous rocks and is associated with hydrothermal activity and low-grade metamorphism. It is often found with zeolites, calcite, datolite, apophyllite, epidote, stilbite, laumon, lamontite, and hewlandite. Okay, those are some stones I've never even heard of before, but my research said that prehnite is often found alongside those other crystals. So I'm just sharing that with you. So even the way that prehnite forms feels a little bit magical to me because it grows in these soft, rounded, kind of glowing shapes that feel less like a harsh crystal point and more like something the earth kind of exhaled quietly into a hidden cavity in the rock. It was first described in 1788 and named after Hendrik van Preen. South Africa is where it was originally discovered. It's often cited as the first mineral named after a person. Important deposits are associated with South Africa, though it is found in other places around the world. Okay, so once again, I did not find a strong formal ancient fairy folklore trail specifically tied to prehnite, the fairy association is best understood as more of a modern energetic correspondence. And that does not make it less meaningful for practice, because I think that our stones, we ascribe the meaning to them, whatever it is that we feel, right? So, yes, there are these kind of standardized meanings for certain stones based on their history, their folklore, and things like that. But also, we as people also get to decide what stones mean to us, right? So, for me, this pale green color gives me this visual of a garden, of moss, of spring. And that's always a visual that you have, or at least I have, when I'm thinking of the fairy realm at times. And even now, going into spring. And this stone is often associated with dream work, which is that threshold between worlds, our awake world and our sleeping world. This stone has more of a gentle, intuitive frequency. It's an easier point of entry than like the harsher psychic stones, maybe like labradorite. This stone feels softer. It is often used in feng shui, like placed in a garden setting, which makes it feel very like nature spirit aligned. And modern crystal sources associated with communication with subtle realms, including angels and other beings. And I would say that those other beings could be fairies, right? Why not? So while I cannot sit here and tell you that there is some famous old medieval fairy tale about Prehnite specifically, I can tell you that in the modern crystal world, it absolutely carries that energy of the green threshold, the dream gate, the hidden garden, and the unseen but benevolent realm just beyond ordinary perception. Prehnite is widely described as a crystal in crystal tradition as a stone of dreaming and a stone of prophecy. It's associated with vivid dreams, dream recall, lucid dreaming, and communication with other planes in modern metaphysical sources. It is great on your bedside table. It is great near a dream journal. It is also a nice companion for tarot and other divinatory practices. If there is one place where Prehnite really begins to glow in the metaphysical world, it is in dream work. This is a stone people return to again and again for vivid dreams, recall, lucid dreaming, and that feeling that sleep is not just rest, but a realm of messages. Prehnite is often framed as a crystal for unconditional love, emotional healing, and helping the healer. One of my favorite things about Prehnite is not just that it's kind of dreamy and floaty, it also has this current of self-respect. It reminds the overgiver, the overfunctioner, the emotionally available to everyone person that you are allowed to tend your own garden too. Right? So one of the things that I was thinking about, with a family dynamic and being a mom, like we're always overgiving, we're always doing all this stuff for our families, and we are not 24-hour room service for our families, right? We need to take that time for ourselves too. We have to prioritize our own needs at times. And this is a stone of setting those boundaries, and having boundaries is very important also when we're discussing fairy lore, because you have to have strong boundaries if you're working with the fairy realm. This crystal is associated with the heart, solar plexus, and third eye chakras. It's often linked to sleep, nightmares, hyperactivity. It's a great stone to use if you're trying to declutter, if you're trying to protect your home, and it's really great for emotional clearing in a metaphysical practice. As far as physical healing, I found some information that it is good for the kidney, bladder, connective tissue, circulation, detoxification, and metabolism, but these are more traditional crystal beliefs rather than like necessarily scientifically founded reasons for using the stone. In crystal healing practices and traditions, prehnite is linked with the heart, solar plexus, and third eye, and it is often worked with for emotional clearing, dream work, and creating a calm, protected environment. And as always, these are spiritual correspondences rather than medical treatment, right? Some of its meanings are not necessarily scientifically proven, as I mentioned. They appear to come from the meanings of this stone appear to come from a mix of the color symbolism of pale green, healing, growth, and the natural world. Its visual appearance, which is very misty, glowing, organic. Its formation style, which is cave-like, rounded, hidden pocket growth, and the modern metaphysical systems of chakras, angels, prophecy, intuition. A lot of meanings we assign to crystals are not laboratory findings. They are symbolic, intuitive, ritual, and relational, and they emerge from how a stone looks, where it comes from, what it seems to evoke, and how generations of practitioners experience it. So, practically, how can we use this stone? Well, as I have mentioned, it's great to keep near your bed for dreams and journaling. Place it in the garden or near your plants, or maybe place it, if you have some small tumbles of it, you could place it, like if you have a plant, you could place it in the soil at the base of the plant. You can use it during tarot and oracle card pulls. You can keep it in a space that needs decluttering, which is basically my whole house. You can hold it during meditation when asking what hidden lesson wants to come through. You could maybe do a small mini ritual with it where you would light a pale green or mint colored candle. You would hold the prehnite and ask, what is trying to reach me from the unseen, gently and for my highest good? And you can journal your dreams or impressions for the next 7 days and see what comes through. So prehnite really opens the door. The fairy month will explore the unseen, the green world, thresholds, folklore, and enchantment. So I really encourage you to maybe get a small piece, put it on your altar, put it on your bedside table, put it in your plants, and see what comes through for you. So that is prehnite. Our dreamstone for the fairy threshold, soft green, quietly powerful, and perfect for beginning a month devoted to the unseen, the enchanted, and the spaces in between. If you have a piece of prehnite, I would love for you to work with it this month. Put it by your bed, put it in your garden, put it beside your tarot deck, and see what begins to stir, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, guys. Now, on Friday, I'm going to be doing a full episode all about the fairy realm and my personal attachment to it and my personal lore of why it means so much to me. So I hope you will tune in on Friday for that episode. And in the meantime, work with your prehnite, do some dream journaling, and let me know what comes up for you. Bye. Thank you for visiting the Crystal Library. I hope today's stone offered just the magic you needed. If you loved this episode, share it with your favorite mystic and tag me on Instagram at mystical.mama.ash or at Bid Crystal Energy Podcast. And if you're feeling generous, leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps this magic reach more curious souls. Until next time, keep your crystals close and your intuition closer.